And what's good? Welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you guys in the stream once again today. Covering play-by-play behind the arc basketball. A great matchup in store. It is Tennessee versus LSU for an SEC matchup. Tennessee comes into this game with a record of 10-3 on the season, 1-1 in the SEC. Also LSU at 1-1 in the SEC, 13-1 overall, 9-0 on their home court. Tennessee 1-1 on the road. This game is at LSU in Baton Rouge. And hopefully a great matchup on store tonight. Both these teams close to each other in the top 25 ranking. Number 18, Tennessee, and number 21, LSU. LSU coming off a signature victory over Kentucky on Tuesday. I got to cover that game, and their defense looked extremely special in that victory, holding Kentucky to a season-low 36% shooting from the floor. What LSU's defense did, and they have a top 5 defense so far this season. Tennessee so far this year, 26th in defense. So this game going to be a huge battle between the two defenses as we're going to tip off, I believe, at around 6 minutes or so. Just watching the Kansas-Texas Tech game between these two before they change it over to LSU Tennessee. What's good? Ian, Bradley, Vegas. Glad to have you guys in the stream. A lot of upsets today. Alabama lost against Missouri. Baylor's trailing right now against TCU. TCU playing their first signature opponent, and TCU's only got one loss this season. If they win that game, they're going to get ranked for TCU, and they have a really good player on Mike Miles for TCU, and they brought in a bunch of transfers in the offseason as well. Cram, welcome in. Warren, welcome in here, man. Does Providence have a passing point guard? Yeah, they got Jared Bynum as the point guard. He's not really like a big offensive type of producing player, but he's a scrappy defender. He can go in and get steals, and he's the lead passer. They have a couple different playmakers on Providence, but he's the top playmaker. And then they got Al Durham. Great pickup they got from Indiana. I believe he's the second player in assists this season behind Bynum. Jose, welcome to the stream. Watching the game, Mario Brothers looks like on the phone right now. Cool there, man. Tennessee coming off an overtime victory over Ole Miss, 66-60 on Wednesday. Santiago Vescovi had a big game, led Tennessee 17.6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. He was one of 3 players who had at least 3 steals in the victory for Tennessee. Kennedy Chandler, 5-star freshman, he had 7 assists, led the team in assists, 4 steals himself. Zakai Ziegler, career high for the freshman, as he had 5 total steals in the W over Ole Miss. Tennessee's defense forced 29 turnovers. They had, as a team, 17 of those turnovers they forced were steals by Tennessee. And LSU forcing 15 turnovers to Kentucky. 11 of those were steals for LSU. And LSU enters this game number 1 in steals per game this season. A couple of things they do really well on the defensive side of the basketball is they do struggle shooting the ball from 3, around the 200s plus mark, but this year for LSU, top 5 defense they have, allowing opponents to just under 56 points per game. Number 1 in steals, averaging around 12 steals per game, and then top 20 in rebounds per game, top 10 in three-point defense for LSU. And Tennessee entering this matchup, great passing team, top 12 in assists this season for Tennessee. Difference maker in this matchup could be if Tennessee is able to get players to go off. Josiah Jordan-James, he had a great game when they won at home against Arizona. John Fulkerson, he also had a tremendous game against Arizona. And if those players are able to produce in a big way today, they have an opportunity. Tennessee was shorthanded last week when they lost against Alabama on the road, but they were without Fulkerson, they were without Kennedy Chandler, and they still almost pulled off the victory. They were leading majority of that game and then came up short at the end. Yep, I got that there, Jose. Just waiting for Texas Tech versus Kansas to finish up. Final 40 seconds between Texas Tech and Kansas. The Red Raiders leading 71-67. Looks like it's now bonus time for Texas Tech as they just got fouled. Impressive for the Red Raiders in this game, but a majority of their points were scored in the paint. Kansas, their struggle this year has come inside the interior. Jalen Wilson had his best game this season scoring-wise, but he's going to have to do that on a consistent basis for Kansas to get back and have an opportunity to make the deep run, because that's been the trouble spot this year for Kansas, has been front court scoring. The number 2 scorer in the front court this season has been Mitch Lightfoot, a super senior, behind David McCormack, who is phenomenal against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State knocked off Texas today. Alabama lost against Missouri. TCU's leading Baylor 43-36. So quite a bit of top 25 upsets already happened from today's earlier slate of games. Tremendous game between Seton Hall and UConn went into overtime. Seton Hall won 90-87. UConn hadn't played until December 21st. Yeah, Houston is down players. They have 2 of their key players got season-ending injuries, and no problem for them. They're able to knock off Wichita State. And they lost Quentin Grimes to the draft. They got a great culture around that Houston team. What's good, Dwayne on the stream? Welcome in. Can Wake Forest still make it into the top 25? Big thing there for them. They just have to keep on winning. Just go on a monster winning streak, and they'll be able to make it in. Tyler, welcome in. Final 20 seconds of Texas Tech versus Kansas, and then we're going to get into action here. Tennessee LSU is already tipped off. I can't get in my TV right now, though, because they got the Texas Tech-Kansas game overlapping at the moment. NFL Broncos lead the Chiefs. That's a shocker. They just ended halftime, starting off the third quarter, 14-10 Denver over Kansas City. I'll keep updates in the score until we get it rolling, but Texas Tech looks like they're going to pick up the W over Kansas, 75-67, final 20 seconds left to go. A 3-point shot made by Mawadi Wilkinson of LSU to go on the board first. Brian, welcome back in, man. Early action as well. Georgia's at Kentucky. Iowa State is at Oklahoma. So a couple other ranked teams inside the top 25 starting out at this hour. And San Diego State, what a statement they have had so far today. 65-49. San Diego State leads number 20 ranked Colorado State. Colorado State came off of that pause, and then they had one game back. They played Air Force earlier this week. But San Diego State, they're a great team at home. They get a tremendous defense. I thought they'd be able to take that one based on how locked the defense has seemed like it has been playing lately for San Diego State. That team's a tournament team too. Mountain West going to get multiple bids, but those 2 definites, and then after that, probably somebody else. Probably like a Boise State or something. Maybe could get in as like a third team, or maybe Utah State. Final 15 seconds between Texas Tech and Kansas. Looks like we're going to have another upset inside the top 25, and Texas Tech does it through points in the paint today, as they will pull off the victory, 75-67, the final in this game, as finally we'll have Tennessee and LSU. Yeah, that'll be crazy, man. TCU's got a really good player with Mike Miles. That team is good. If they win that one, that's a huge up to make into the tournament. Cameron Hildreth from the UK. That's awesome there. Have to be on the lookout for him. Yeah, Brian looking for the Jags to upset the Colts. I'm going to take Auburn right now to win the SEC East. Auburn looking really good. They got a ton of size and athleticism on that team. So we joined in the progress, 4-3 to score, 17:50 left to go in the first. Tennessee just made a free throw. LSU right to left, they have the white uniforms, purple numbers, purple letters. LSU entering this game Number one in defensive efficiency so far this season. Driving down the lane, it is Xavier Pinson. Swings it out to the right wing. 3 in the air, missed by Wilkinson. Defensive rebound pulled down by Tennessee. LSU not a strong three-point shooting team this season. Neither is Tennessee entering this matchup. I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring defensive slugfest type of game. Looking at 50s, low 60s on the scoreboard. Santiago Vescovi dribbles right baseline. He has some space. Gives it back outside to Kenny Chandler. Chandler dumps it in. Down low, it's Olivier Kwamba. Right at the rim, he gets fouled, and he's going to have 2 shots coming up at the line. Clock will stop. 17-10 left to go in the first. Yeah, Chiefs would have to win to be the number 1 seed still. Because right now it's Tennessee. KCM on the stream, welcome in. Disappointing this year for Arkansas. Their defense is struggling a ton. It's shocking that they're winless right now in the SEC. I thought they'd be a consistent top 25 team this year. First free throw, good. But right now, they're not looking like they're going to make the tournament if this keeps up. See, Alabama with a bad loss today on the road at Missouri. Alabama's got a lot of defensive problems too at the moment. If they keep on losing those types of games, they might be in jeopardy of missing a tournament. I don't think they get ranked come Monday for Alabama for that loss. 6-3 to score Tennessee. 17 minutes left to go in the first. LSU passes off to a cutter. One dribble, turn around off the front rim, no good. Missed by Wilkinson. Tennessee picks up the defensive rebound. Strong interior defense for the Vols this season. Kwamba swings it out right wing perimeter. Josiah Jordan James lobs it inside. Kwamba snags it off of a double team. Moves it out to Vescovi. Launches a 3. Hits it. That is good for Tennessee. 9-3 Santiago Vescovi. Having a solid season here for the Vols. Junior from Uruguay. Out to the top, it's a 3. No good, miss by LSU, and if they want to pull this one out, they have to get to the rim. They started out shooting bricks against Auburn last week, where everything was a miss, mostly from 3. They started out missing a ton. Missed 3 at the corner by Kennedy Chandler, deflected out, and last touch by Tennessee. $16:06 left to go in the first. LSU is going to get the inbound coming up. Brandon Murray, Xavier Pinson, Darius Days, Mawani Wilkinson, and Tari Eason now, 6th man for LSU, will check into the game. Eason, the top scorer this season, scoring above 15 points per game. Brandon Murray with the ball at the left wing. Murray puts it out to the top to Pinson. Pinson defended by Ziegler, towards his right around the perimeter. Pick gets set by Eason. Out to the top once again to Murray. Jab step, takes the 3-point shot. He connects on that one and puts it to a 3-point game. Brandon Murray scoring just below 9 points per game this season. A freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, and he hits his first shot. So 2 made threes by LSU, Murray and Wilkinson. Vescovi. Defended at the top, deep range 3. He takes one and off the front rim it goes. Picked up in the corner for LSU by Eason. They pass it out to Wilkinson. Gives it out to Days. Days defended on the perimeter by Kwamba. Now they pass to the top, pro hop. Tough look and instead going to kick it back out to the top. It went from Eason to Pinson. We'll see if Pinson goes blow-by right here. We've seen him a ton try to use his speed with a dribble drive. Pump fake Pinson. There he goes. Shoveled it to nobody. Deflected out, though. Lucky he did not turn that one over. Xavier Pinson's been struggling with the turnovers quite a bit lately for LSU. We're going to meet the first timeout of the game here. Media timeout, 14:53 left remaining in the first. Tennessee up 9-6. Hey, thanks so much, Ben. Really appreciate it, man. If you guys are new in the channel, hit that thumbs up, spike that like, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell as well. If you guys would like to be notified future live streams I cover both college hoops and NBA on the channel. Treeper, welcome in. Yeah, they had the day of that the game gets postponed. I was wondering because I was working earlier today and I got home around 3, and then I turned on the TV. I saw that Villanova versus DePaul was on Fox for today because that's what Michigan State was supposed to be on. So I was like, yeah, somebody right there was having some trouble, and then I looked it up and it was Michigan. Yeah, they are miles away from being a tournament team right now from Michigan. Let's see what we got right now. College basketball scoreboard. If Oklahoma wins today, they get ranked 10-6. Oklahoma leads over Iowa State. Another team who gets ranked if they win today, that would be TCU. But right now, Baylor has come back 45-44. Baylor with 15.5 left to go in the second half. Kentucky tied up with Georgia 15-15. Colorado State getting pounded against San Diego State 67-49. San Diego State leading. Not sure if it's going to be enough to get them into the top 25 for the Aztecs, but impressive victory over Colorado State. Colorado State had one. They were coming off a lengthy pause. They had one game earlier this week to get back on the right footing against Air Force, and then they met San Diego State today. So, yeah, San Diego State doesn't even they don't even have any votes receiving at the moment. Missouri beat Alabama. That game was quite a shock. Christian, welcome in. I'm gonna go. It's Big Ben's final game. I think he's gonna go out with a bang, even though it's on the road. So I'm gonna take the Steelers there, even though that's probably not the one you wanted to hear. I think Alabama drops out. Texas drops to probably 23-24. Alabama drops out. Four losses. Only 4-loss team that's going to be in the top 25 is Villanova. That's a terrible loss they had today at Missouri. It doesn't matter if it's on the road. Missouri's lost to a handful of teams that have like records below 500 this year. I'm seeing a lot of warning signs from this Alabama team. And they had won over Gonzaga back in November, and they're just on a tough road here past couple of weeks. That was a huge win for Texas Tech. They're a physical team for Texas Tech. Oklahoma State, they're 8-5. They picked off Texas. I don't think it's enough to get them in. They're probably going to get some votes, though. Coming back from the timeout, LSU burns the timeout. So we just had a media timeout, and now they're going to take the timeout, not even able to get the inbound off. It's going to be a quick 30-second timeout. Yeah, I got the Colts there tomorrow. Just imagine if the Jags win. That would be crazy. So if the Jags win, all mayhem, then just sets up for the playoffs. The playoffs are basically given to the Colts. You got the easiest matchup out of anybody on the schedule. But the Jags had already beat the Bills this season. Malika, welcome back in. Kansas probably is going to drop to around... They'll probably drop to around like number 12, around that area. So that whole grouping, USC, Arizona, Auburn, Michigan State, that whole grouping's going to pass them, and then Houston. Also, Wisconsin is going to have to get bumped up a ton for them. So we finally get back to action, 9-6 to score. What's good, Air Jordan on the stream? Welcome in. Right now, as far as the NBA extending outside the U.S., that's really difficult right now because of everything going on as far as like travel in the in the airline cancellations in today's world. It would probably work if there were teams out like in London in the future, but like the further you travel, it gets tougher. The further out in Europe you travel. I think it could work though if there was like a team added in like the UK. Maybe if there was like a team added like in Spain or France too. But UK would be the first one. Yeah, so obviously in the future. Because right now things aren't going so smooth. Okay, so they're reviewing flagrant fall in the court, 14:36 left to go in the first. It seems like these last 10 minutes have gone by so slow. With 2 timeouts and not even 20 seconds have gone off the clock ever since in the last 10 minutes in total compared to the last 20 seconds in the game. It's taken like 10 minutes to go through. That's shocking. The Broncos are up over the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs are playing for the number 1 seed. They're playing for home field. 21-17 Denver with 9 minutes in the third. Glad to have the Chiefs defense in my bench this week. I took LSU today. 63-59. I took LSU. I think it's going to be a score between low 60s and high 50s, most likely, around that mark. Okay, so they finally get that all sorted out. LSU will head to the free throw line. First shot is good for the Tigers. Brandon Murray. He's going to have a second shot coming up, and that free throw is good. So 9-8. Makes both of the free throws. Having a great freshman season for Brandon Murray. LSU will also get the inbounds. Tigers take it past half court. Eric Gaines, number 2. He dribbles up, spin move, lost the handle, tries to get it back off of a double team, forced up ball into the hands, though, of his teammate Dave's able to see it. Daves hands it back to Gaines. Gaines dribbles, finds some space, floats up the shot in the key. No good offensive rebound. Eason keeps it alive for LSU. 14 minutes left to go in the first. Eason hands it outside around the perimeter to Gaines. Passes out to the top to Eason. Eason once again driving off of a double team, passes over top of the key. Jab step, open 3 straight away. Couldn't connect, was Gaines' defensive rebound. Pulled down by Uros Placevic of Tennessee. Foles now with the ball. They move it out to the right corner. 3 in the air, off the mark, no good. Open look by Jordan James, couldn't connect. LSU with a rebound back. Driving, Eason. Euro stepped down the lane, couldn't finish, left hand but got fouled. And Tari Eason will shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line, see if LSU can take the lead. 13:34 left to go, first half. Tari Eason, top scorer this season for LSU, coming off the bench as well. Yeah, great question. If LSU wins this game, where do I see them ranked coming up? They're probably going to go up around 10 spots, most likely, if I had to predict. So I think they're going to be around 11. There's a lot of teams that's going to drop this week. Providence is 14-2. They got crushed though against Marquette, so Providence is going to stay in the top 25, but they're going to drop spots. That Kentucky-Georgia game needs to be monitored too, because if Kentucky loses to Georgia, that means they'll drop out. First shot was good by Eason. Second one at the line was missed. There might be a good amount of different teams coming in this week into the rankings. Illinois is going to get back in. A runner in the key as that goes down, up and in. Off the backboard, Kennedy Chandler finds his way. LSU with the ball. They move it outside to Pinson. Pinson kicks it out left corner to Fudge. Fudge dribbles left baseline, missed the layup, gets his own ball back, puts it up and gets the second chance points there for 2. Great game so far, 11-11, with under 13 minutes left to go in the first. Tennessee with the possession. Zakai Ziegler slows down the ball at the edge of the Cox logo. Gives it out, left wing perimeter, Justin Powell, transfer from Tennessee. He's a sophomore. Moves it out to the top of the key once again to Ziegler. Ziegler looks to fire it over. He passes outside Powell. A lot of dribbling. Lost control of the ball. 1 on the shot clock. Diving for LSU. Picks up the steal. Number 1 team in steals per game. LSU gets their second steal of the game. Jacking up a 3. Pinson off the back rim. Couldn't connect. LSU once again struggling from 3-point range. So far today, they're 2 for 6 from the outside. Vols with the ball. Moving it out to Powell. 3-point shot taken off the back rim, deflected up in the air, and a rebound picked up by LSU by Alex Fudge. Tigers once again with a possession. Low-scoring game, tied up at 11 as we got 12 minutes left to play. At the left block, Xavier Pinson moves it over into the hands of Justice Williams, goes into the backcourt, and he steps in the backcourt for a violation. Turnover by the Tigers. Clock will stop with 11:47. Media timeout on the court here. 11-11, 11:47 left to go in the first half. Low-scoring game. What I predicted here. Defensive type of battle so far. 2 steals in the block by Tennessee. And 2 steals so far by LSU. Both teams shooting the ball low percentage. 27%, 3 for 11 by LSU. 3 for 10. 30% for Tennessee. Yeah, Baylor's getting pushed right now against TCU. That game's on the road at Fort Worth. That's impressive for TCU. I think even if they lose against Baylor today, I think you still got to rank TCU. This team didn't even receive a vote in the last poll for TCU, and even though if they do lose, I mean that's as big as a game that you'll ever have on the schedule this season, right there. Unless it's a road game at Baylor. That's the biggest game, but that's the second biggest, is hosting Baylor, number 1 ranked team in the nation. And TCU had a couple of games postponed because they were coming off a pause. How many conference wins do I think Wake Forest can get? Probably somewhere in like the low double digits, most likely. What's good, Quincy in the stream? Welcome in, man. Yeah, they didn't even get any votes at all for TCU. They had to play they didn't have like a signature opponent on their schedule, but look what they're doing right now once they get that opportunity. And they're going to have more of those coming up. And TCU is the one who gets to play LSU in the Big 12 SEC Challenge game. So TCU upcoming, they're going to take on Kansas State, who pushed West Virginia today, Oklahoma State, and then their schedule gets tough. 3 ranked teams in a row, Iowa State, Texas, LSU. Dennis, welcome back in, taking Tennessee. If you guys are new in the stream, hit that thumbs up, spike that like, hit that subscribe right now on the timeout. Extremely low-scoring game here at the moment. Final score alert, and it wasn't even close. San Diego State knocked off Colorado State by the final score of 79-49. This San Diego State team is coming together rather quickly. Big comeback. Loyola Chicago is going to win against Bradley. 77-71 in overtime. That game about to go final. Loyola Chicago is a team that's going to be going into the top 25 rather soon. Just knocked off San Francisco this past week. We get back to action, 11:40 left to go in the first. Tennessee has missed their last 6 out of 7 shots from the floor. Ziegler passes over to Kennedy Chandler. And LSU gets called for the reach, and clock will stop with 11:36. Going to be on Pinson. That's been a problem lately for LSU. It's been the foul trouble. They just picked up their 4th personal foul as a team. Tennessee's got 3. Ziegler gets the inbound. Ziegler at the top, dribbles, step back jumper to right elbow, high arcing off the front rim, tipped up. Who's got the rebound? And LSU comes down with a board. Pinson will take it up the court now for the Tigers. Pinson has it again. Bounce pass, nice find underneath to Days at the rim. Dumps it off to Wilkinson. And able to find a bucket. That's a hard-fought bucket right there for the Tigers to go up 13-11. John Fulkerson right at the rim trying to protect the paint. Pinson squeaked the pass right past him. Days bounced it over to Wilkinson right next to him and able to score. Extremely tough bucket for LSU. Tennessee's interior defense, they are stiff inside. Tough to score on. Ziegler got the ball poked loose. Able to get it up though and find its way into his teammate's hands to Chandler. Chandler dump out, goes to the corner, and it gets thrown out of bounds. It's a turnover by Tennessee. Yeah, that's unfortunate with Colorado State. They got a lot of good scorers on their team. Their team's all like perimeter-based shooting. But as far as size, they don't have much size on that team. Crossover, lost him on a perimeter. Guess what? I can take an open 3, and I can make it 2. Xavier Pinson does that right there for LSU. 10:20 left to go in the first. Left baseline dribble, going backdoor, getting the layups. Kennedy Chandler. Finally, we got some buckets here to go down. 10-14 left to go in the first. And underneath in the paint, LSU gets called for the offensive foul. Away from the ball, it's Efton Reed who pushes down. John Fulkerson into the key, just lowers that shoulder. And that wasn't even close to where the basketball was handled on the outside perimeter where Pinson had it. We've got a great game so far. Efton Reed has picked up 3 personal fouls. That's a concern right now for LSU. He's the tallest player listed in the roster at 6'11". Tennessee gets the inbound. Chandler, Fulkerson, Kwanwa, Justin Powell, and Vescovi. That's the 5 in the court. Vescovi passes right corner to Chandler. Dumps it out right block into the hands of Kwanwa. Swings it out to the top, pump fake. Vescovi moves it out to Chandler. They swing it cross court. Left wing Powell, bounce pass, left baseline Kwanwa. He's defended by Days, going backwards, 1 on the shot clock, watch out. Couldn't get a shot off in time. And the LSU defense puts together a big defensive stop. Shot clock violation by Tennessee. The ball goes back to the Tigers. This defense for LSU, they are so fierce. Last year was all about their offense in scoring and getting buckets, but man, this team this year has stepped up on the defensive side of the basketball. Vaughn, welcome in, man. 9:35 left to go in the first. LSU gets the inbound. Dribbling to the free throw circle with Tari Eason. Drives his way down, no good, missed the layup. To the right of the rim it went, rebounded, picked up by Kwanwa of Tennessee. Vols have the ball with Vescovi. Bounce pass, nice swing down low to Kwanwa and throws down the two-handed jam. Pinson, pass midcourt with it, defended at the top. Days to Pinson. Pinson crossover, drives, Euro step down the lane, nifty move and draws the contact and the foul. Xavier Pinson, that's what he loves to do right there. Get to the rim and go to the free throw line. He's going to shoot 2 coming up here at the charity stripe. Pinson, a transfer from Missouri. Staying in the SEC and benefiting him. Top assist leader so far this season. He's got 3 points in this game. First shot by Pinson. That's a make. Pinson's been a great free throw shooter all his career. First 3 seasons at Missouri. This one for LSU for his senior year. 82% in his career. So far this season, shooting 83% at the line. Season high in assist numbers. Averaging around 4.5 assists coming into this game. Only had around just under 3 when he played at Missouri. And both of them go down 19 of 15. It's a steal by LSU. And they're going to pass ahead and cash it in for the dunk. Brandon Murray, the one behind the defense, he throws it down. Right-handed punch right there for 2. Left corner 3 off the mark, missed by Tennessee. Huge rebound picked up by Darius Days for the Tigers. 8.5 left to go in the first. LSU with the ball. They lead by 6. Pinson at the top. Crossover, dribbles, kick, deflected pass, but goes into the hands of his teammate Wilkinson. They move it outside, Days to Pinson. Pinson dribbles towards his right at the top of the key once again, defended by Jordan James. Moves it out to the left wing, open 3, gets it. That rolls through. Darius Days with a triple, and a timeout taken on the floor by Rick Barnes of Tennessee. 8:09 left to play in the first, and LSU shot starting to drop. 24-15 for the home team here in Baton Rouge. Great game today. 2 teams inside the top 25. LSU looking to put together a monster week as one of the weekly top teams so far this week to join the group with Wisconsin and Marquette for these week's top teams. They're looking that way right now. Already knocked off a ranked opponent with Kentucky back on Tuesday. Yeah, this is a physical game indeed. LSU coming in. And top team in steals nationally. They got 3 steals so far. Scrappy team it is for LSU. If you guys are new in the stream, hit that thumbs up, spike that like, hit that subscribe. Thanks so much for joining in, being a part here on the channel today. Who will be unranked next week? Great question. Alabama. Yeah, Alabama's at number 15. They just got their 4th loss against Missouri. I don't think that's going to make it to the cut. Everybody in the back half of the top 25 winning today. Texas Tech, Seton Hall, and winning against good opponents, whether it was yesterday, the day prior, or today. Wisconsin knocked off Purdue a couple days ago. Xavier knocked off Butler yesterday. Seton Hall at number 24 beat UConn in a overtime game. UConn hadn't played since December 21st, but it's not going to be too long before UConn gets right back into the top 25. UConn's a top 25 team. And not only are they a top 25 team, they have a chance to win the Big East, in my opinion. They haven't been fully healthy. 2 teams that's unranked haven't been fully healthy. That's going to be well into the top 25 in March. Illinois and UConn. Illinois is going to get ranked. UConn lost today, so not yet. If they had won against Seton Hall, they'd be ranked. Seton Hall would drop. But Alabama's a definite drop. Colorado State just lost their first game. We'll see if it's going to be enough to keep them in or not. It all depends on who else wins all of these games. Oklahoma. If Oklahoma wins, Oklahoma would replace Colorado State. Providence would drop probably in the late 20s. They drop because they did win today against St. John's by 10. They get crushed against Marquette though. Texas is going to drop to the 20s. But right now I just have one at the moment with Illinois. Yeah, Loyola Chicago, they're knocking on the door of being ranked. They narrowly escaped one in overtime today. They beat the Bradley Braves. Okay, so I'm looking at the coaches poll right now. Florida State received 1 coaches poll ranked. They got one vote for a coach's poll. They got the same amount of votes as Davis, and that's ridiculous. That somebody voted Florida State. They gave him a vote. This year, they're well far away from being a tournament team. Chris in the stream, welcome in, man. Yeah, that's unfortunate there. I was wondering what happened because I had worked earlier today, and then I came home and saw that Villanova DePaul was on because that game wasn't supposed to be on Fox. And then I found out that Michigan is now on a pause. We got back to action. There was a lob over the top by Tennessee as they draw contact as well and draw a foul. 24-15. 7:58 left to go in the first. And this will send Kennedy Chandler to the free throw line. He's got 4 points so far today, 2 for 3 shooting. First shot, no good off the front rim. And quick update on a couple other ranked scores. Baylor starting to pull away against TCU. If TCU had won that game, they'd be ranked. Second shot good by Chandler. And Iowa State leading Oklahoma 27-24. If Oklahoma wins that game, they should be ranked. Georgia, if Kentucky loses, they're going to drop out. I don't know if they're without a couple players as LSU loses the handle, slides in for the dunk. Soaring up is Kennedy Chandler right there. Soaring up high with a two-handed jam. That's only their 6th point in the paint in the game for Tennessee. 7.5 left to go in the first. LSU will try it again at the top of the key. Eason, bounce pass off to a cut left baseline. Days out of control of the ball. Tried to go reverse hand with a layup, but missed it. Didn't even hit the rim. Rebound picked up by Tennessee. They move it out to the right corner. Pump fake. Bailey dribbles up. Right baseline. Jay. No good. Around the rim and out. Rebounds. Picked up defensively. Right back for the Tigers. They will slow it down with Eric Gaines. Gaines at the top. Slides it left wing to Murray. Back over to Gaines. Gaines over to Murray. Entry pass. Eason. One defender. Eason off of a double team. Passes right down the lane. Oh, nice move with the left hand. Eric Gaines able to evade the defender as he cuts straight away down the lane with a beautiful pass fed by Tyree Eason. LSU by 8. Vols with the ball. Top of the key, Bailey gives it over to Chandler. Chandler drives. Tough defense by LSU, and they put together a stop right there. A ball pinwheels around back to Tennessee. Moving it out to the left corner. Dump off underneath Chandler. He's off of a double team. Dribbles out to the top. Chandler kicks it out. Deep range 3. Around the rim and out. Missed, no good by Vescovi. And a rebounding foul is charged, and it's going to be on LSU. 6:17 left to go in the first. It is picked up by Darius Days, who commits the foul on the rebounds. Yeah, Kentucky having trouble right now against Georgia, giving up 37 points with still 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Georgia leads 37-36. So there could possibly be 2 SEC teams that drop out of the top 25 this week. First free throw is good at the line for Tennessee. Alabama losing against Missouri today. That's a tough loss, and don't wanna get another L at the bottom of the conference team, and that's been a struggle so far for Kentucky facing Georgia, and that game is a home game at Rupp for Kentucky. 6 minutes left to go in the first. 6-point lead for LSU. Xavier Pinson dribbles down the lane, lost it, and thought he was fouled. He wasn't. Tennessee puts it into the wrong hands. Back to Pinson as it rolls around, and he lays it up and in. Relentless, able to stay with it for Xavier Pinson. First looks like he gave up on the play. Everybody thought a whistle was blown on LSU's side, and then Tennessee tried to save it with Jordan James and just put it into the wrong hands. Yes, San Diego State pounded Colorado State today. They're probably going to drop out too for Colorado State, seeing how much they lost by. And Loyola Chicago won. They're another team that might make it into the top 25. Illinois has deserved every right to be there right now. Kofi Coburn's playing on a national player of the year level right now. He's unbelievable. Passing inside to Eason. First one misses. Gets the tip in. 30-20 LSU. Doing it with a multitude of players so far. OG, welcome on the stream, man. Will I ever host a show? We'll have to see. I used to host back in college, but it was more like DJing I used to do for like music radio back in college. LSU so far, 7 separate scores, 7 points by Brandon Murray, 6 by Xavier Pinson. Those are the top 2 scores. Tennessee, they've had their entire starting 5 score. Kenny Chandler, he leads the way, 7 points. But other than that, the rest of his teammates have only made 1 shot so far. Tennessee just got fouled. It's going to send Vescovi to the line. First shot good by Santiago Vescovi. Junior from Uruguay. He's a member of the Uruguay national team as well. He's having a tremendous start this season. Scoring in double digits in 11 out of 13 games. Second shot good. Five minutes left to go before half. 8-point game. Pinson bounce pass down low, ease in, and he pushes off. It gets called for the offensive foul. Turnover LSU. Eason just tried to create more space on Fulkerson, just lowered a shoulder right into him, though. Just this one game I'll be covering tonight. Oklahoma just took the lead back against Iowa State, 31-29. A lot of great games tonight. This schedule this week had like a ton of games. Also, that's the 10th right there for LSU. So Tennessee quickly has gone from the bonus now to the double bonus, and Tennessee gets called for the offensive foul. So pushing off themselves by Kennedy Chandler, back-to-back offensive fouls by these two teams. Gritty physical game so far tonight. Both teams 1-1 in the conference, pretty even as far as rankings going into this matchup. LSU, home court advantage, 13-1 on the season, 9-0 at home. Tennessee, this is only their 3rd game on the road this year for Tennessee. 4.5 left to go before halftime. LSU by 8, they have the ball. Bounce pass inside, snags it, gets position, puts it up and in as he banks it. Darius Days able to get the bucket. LSU starting to work their way down low. Tennessee struggling from 3. Difference maker in this game has been LSU, making a couple 3-point shots lately. 4 for 8, 50% from the outside. Tennessee, too many attempts, too many misses. 2 for 11 from 3, just 18%. Pass down low underneath, and Olivier Kwanwa able to draw a foul. And Tennessee will head back to the charity stripe to shoot 2. First shot is good. Tennessee has been to the free throw line now 7 times in this game. As a team currently, they're 9 for 12. 13th attempt on coming, and that one goes down for Kwanwa. Less than 4 minutes left to go before a half. LSU has possession. Days, passes, Pinson, pump fake, dribbles up, gives it out, right corner, back out to Pinson at the top. Pinson working on Kwanwa. Pick gets set, Pinson. He dribbles right block, moves it over top of the free throw circle, Fudge down the lane, floats one up, no good, tipped up, and defensive rebound pulled down by Kwanwa. And LSU picks up a foul on the backside. It's on Brandon Murray. That's his second personal. The fan's not happy about the call right there. Well, it wasn't really much of a touch. Tennessee will head to the free throw line coming up. Right out of the timeout, they'll shoot 2. Clock will stop 32-24. And Tennessee has been scoreless. Tennessee hasn't made a field goal in over 4 minutes. They made their last shot. If you guys are new in the stream, hit that thumbs up, spike that like, hit that subscribe. Thanks so much for watching tonight, being a part here on the channel. And hit me up in the chat who you got in this one, Tennessee or LSU. And feel free to vote in that poll if you guys would like as well. Buzzbox, welcome in, taking Tennessee today. This LSU defense has been extremely tough to get good looks against. They just haven't been able to get a player to get red hot in this game so far for Tennessee. Kennedy Chandler, he's got 7 points. A couple of those easy, though, for Kennedy Chandler off of a steal and a dunk. A few of those right at the rim. So Chandler's got half of the made buckets so far. 3 for 5 shooting by Chandler. And then Tennessee as a team has a shot made by Olivier Kwamwa, 1 field goal made by Santiago Vescovi, and then 1 shot made by Josiah Jordan-James. 6 for 18 shooting, just 33% from the floor. And then LSU shooting at 52%. They're 12 for 24 in this game for LSU, and it's been second chance points. It's been a big difference maker, and from 3, they've connected on 50% of their threes, 4 for 8 from the outside. What's good, Anthony? Welcome to the stream here, man. This is my only stream I'll be covering today. Points in the paint, 16-6 in favor of LSU. So they get the rebound and points in the paint advantage. And nothing's coming easy against LSU right now. As far as layups, LSU's got 14. They've got 14 of their points off of layups so far. So they've got 44% of the points off of layups. In Tennessee, trying to see this number that they have. It's coming in really small. They got 1 layup for Tennessee. They only have 1 bucket at the rim. So 14 points off of layups, and then LSU with 4 made threes. No clue. I guess only time will tell. Olivier Kwamwa will head to the free throw line coming up, shooting 2 in the double bonus for Tennessee. The only thing that's drawing back LSU at this point is a lot of fouls. They're getting into a ton of foul trouble. 12 as a team right now. 5 fouls picked up by Tennessee. The fouls are distributed like this for LSU. 3 fouls picked up by Efton Reed, their big man at 6'11". He has yet to score, yet to even get a rebound so far today because he's been in deep foul trouble. 2 fouls each by 3 other players, Darius Days, Brandon Murray, and Eric Gaines. Kwamwa at the line goes 1 for 2. LSU will get the inbound, 3:21 left to go in the first. They have it underneath their hoop, looking to inbound it. They give it out to the right baseline. Jumper taken around the rim, missed, no good by Justice Williams, a freshman from Philadelphia. Picked up in the defensive board for Tennessee. Pass ahead, circling around the rim, Chandler. Bounce pass, right corner, Jordan James. Swings it out to the top, Kwama, over to Ziegler. Ziegler passes, Chandler. Jordan James will shoot a three at the right corner. Off the mark, no good. And another rebounding foul. Picked up. Fulkerson gets knocked down. LSU's in deep foul trouble, and once again, it's on the Tigers. It's going to be on Wilkinson. That's his first. So team foul number 13 in the first half for LSU. That's the only thing holding them back right now. Their defense has been spectacular. First shot missed, no good. Second free throw missed as well by John Fulkerson and ripped at the... it's by Kwame who missed the free throw. Ripped at the rim for a huge rebound right there by Eason as Days will drive and draw the foul. John Fulkerson, the one who picks up the blocking foul, and Darius Days will shoot two. 2:55 left to go in the first. It's going to be two shots coming up for LSU. Probably in a while there, Vaughn. Yeah, it might actually be before November. First shot missed, no good. Both of these teams cold right now at the free throw line. LSU is 4 for 8. Tennessee is 11 for 17. What's good, Bill? Welcome to the stream, man. Second shot, that no good as well. Off the back rim, deflected as Tennessee tried to put it out, and it will be off an LSU player. Looked like it pinned off a Days, as Days was trying to save it too. Yeah, tomorrow I'm probably not going to stream because I got rehearsal tomorrow night. LSU's going to get the inbound coming up. Pinson, the inbound passer, moves it over right baseline, floats it up off the back rim, no good. Missed by Williams, defensive board, taken by Jordan James of Tennessee. Tennessee moves it up the court rather quickly. Kennedy Chandler has it at the left baseline. Swings it around the perimeter. Vescovi passes to the top. Desperation three, and a heave. It goes down by Ziegler. 4-point game. Zakai Ziegler finally gets on the board. That's only the third made three of the game for Tennessee. 23% from the perimeter. Great answer right back for LSU. A left corner three. Able to sink through by Mwani Wilkinson. He makes his second triple in the night. So he's got 8 points. 2 minutes left to go in the first. Handoff around the perimeter to Vescovi. Vescovi gives it outside to Jordan James. Back out to the top, Kwamba. Chandler, Vescovi, pump fake. Moves it over to Chandler at the top, and they finally found a spot. Kennedy Chandler takes the three, sinks it from the top of the key. 4-point game. That's back-to-back threes for Tennessee. 10 points now by Kennedy Chandler, top scorer for the Vols. LSU has it around the perimeter. Pinson dribbles back outside. We got a 3-point game here. Xavier Pinson lets it rain and sinks down the trifecta. 9 for Pinson, second made three of the night. Tennessee with a possession. Chandler attacks. Looks like he's going to the right of the rim and draws the foul. Team foul number 14 for LSU. Kennedy Chandler. That's what he could do. Dribble, drive, get to the right side of the rim and draw contact, and that's where his strength is with his game. He is strong playing through contact for Kennedy Chandler, and didn't get the bucket right there, but able to draw the foul and gonna go to the free throw line to shoot 2 shots. Wow, Celtics are 7-point favorites tonight. People just keep on picking them, even though they keep on disappointing. First shot good at the line. TCU lost, unfortunately. 76-64. Wow, Baylor, that score doesn't reflect how close it was. Baylor went out on a run. I think right now it's Auburn. From what I've seen from Auburn so far, they are extremely athletic. They got a ton of size in that team. That's a good team. So I've got Auburn at the moment winning the SEC. I thought it would be Kentucky or Alabama, but Kentucky's struggling right now with when their couple players are banged up for Kentucky, and they're having a hard time against Georgia, which is shocking tonight. Dump off underneath. Tari Eason throws it down at the rim. LSU steals the initial inbounds, and they get another bucket right at the rim. Too many easy baskets so far tonight for LSU at the rim. They put up 40 plus so far in the first half. 40 seconds left to go in the first. Tennessee down by 9. They just gave the ball away. Oh, beautiful crossover behind the back by Chandler. Floats up one and able to get it to go. What a shot. That's a big-time possession right there by Kennedy Chandler, putting his team on his back. 20 seconds left to go before half. LSU with the ball. Shot clock is turned off. Xavier Pinson has it for the Tigers. 10 seconds left to go in the first. Gives it over to Eason. Back into the hands to Pinson. 5 seconds. Pinson dribbles towards his left. At the left wing perimeter. 2 seconds. 1-on-1. Had it stripped by Vescovy. Floats up a prayer. And not a good possession to close it out for the Tigers, as it's an air ball. Tossed up by Xavier Pinson. Huge defensive stop right there by Vescovy at Tennessee. And we go into halftime, and the score 42 LSU, Tennessee 35. Alright, so right now we're going half. If you guys are new in the stream, hit that thumbs up, spike that like, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell as well. And appreciate all watching tonight. Make sure to vote in the poll if you haven't already done so. And let me know out in the chat who you got in this one, Tennessee or LSU. Great game of the first half. LSU, number one team in steals per game. They generated 4 steals in that first half. A big one with under 1 minute left to go on the ensuing inbounds. Able to pick it off and shooting the ball terrific tonight for LSU. 53% from the floor, 60% from 3. Numbers like that, and they lead, and they've been getting a lot of their buckets to go at the rim. Getting to the rim for LSU. Tennessee hanging in there, drawing fouls, and getting LSU getting themselves to the free throw line. That's the only thing stopping LSU right now in that first half was free throw trouble. Foul trouble. 14 fouls as a team by LSU. 3 picked up by Efton Reed. 2 fouls each by 4 separate players. Brandon Murray, Darius Days, Eric Gaines, Mawani Wilkinson, all with 2. And then 3 other players with 1 foul each. Not so well right now, Warren. Yeah, there's just no consistency this year with the Celtics, and a lot of blown leads, and let's see right here. Celtics are 2-11 in games decided by 5 points or less. So Boston's 18-21. They could have 27 wins at this point if they win those games. They could be so that if the Celtics had won all their close games right now, they would have had a record of around 27-12 if they had taken care of those close games and won them instead of keep on choking them and can't close them out at the finish. So that's the difference between being 3 games below 500 and 15 games above 500, believe it or not. They just can't close out close games. They choke it all the time, and there's not enough offense going on whatsoever. No, unfortunately. I think they're going to be the number 11 or 12 team and get left on the outside. Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it right now to even the play-in, because the Hawks are going to... I feel like the Hawks are going to start to rise second half of the year. Even though the Hawks have struggled this year, I think they're going to start to find it out. Yeah, Duke against Miami tonight. Duke comes in as a 15-point favorite, and I think they're going to have a big game for Duke. I think Duke's going to win that one by around 25 tonight, honestly. Miami comes into that game playing 3 home games in the ACC. So Miami's 4-0. If Miami wins that tonight, that is incredibly shocking. Yeah, Miami comes into that game like in the very bottom of college basketball and rebounding, which is not a good matchup going up against Duke, because Duke just has a ton of size. If Miami wants to win that game, they're going to have to make like a ridiculous amount of threes tonight. They've been in shootouts with all of their opponents. They score a ton, they give up a ton though. Wow, Iowa State 6-point underdogs. So let's see what we got. Scores at the half. Iowa State leads Oklahoma 36-32. If Oklahoma wins that one, they're probably going to be ranked. Kentucky now starting to pull away against Georgia. Second half, 50-44. Kentucky up by 6. Georgia Tech leading Notre Dame 35-31. For Notre Dame, they've been like a seesaw themselves too, back and forth. This is a big season for them. They got multiple seniors in that program right now and trying to look to be a tournament team this year. They just pulled off a victory against North Carolina this week, but right now trailing at Georgia Tech by 4. Notable games in the top 25. Baylor over TCU. It was close on most of that game. 76-64 to final. Baylor able to pull it out. Big run at the very end. Purdue beat Penn State earlier today. 74-67. Texas Tech moving up in the top 25. Huge win at home against Kansas. 75-67. Houston dominating over Wichita State. They only won by 10, so not like big-time domination, but still gets the victory by double digits. 76-66. Oklahoma State over Texas today. Big win for Oklahoma State. That team's getting better. They win 64-51, able to break out loose late in the last 3 minutes. Here's a problem right here. Alabama at number 15 lost on the road against Missouri. Missouri at 500, 7-7 record. Alabama gave up 92 points. 92-86 Missouri. Providence won over St. John's 83-73. Villanova won over DePaul. It was close in the first half. 79-64 as DePaul led in the first half, but Villanova came back big in the second half. San Diego State winning by 30 over Colorado State, 79-49. So probably going to be 2 ranked teams at the moment dropping out of the top 25, Alabama and Colorado State. And then Seton Hall won in overtime over UConn, 90-87. That would be a no there, Vaughn. Davidson, a team moving on up, won against Rhode Island, 72-68. North Carolina winning today over Virginia 74-58. If UNC had won against Notre Dame this week, they would be ranked this coming Monday. It's probably going to be Illinois who gets ranked in the top 25. As for the second team who gets ranked, all pending that Oklahoma-Iowa State game. But if Davidson keeps on winning, they're going to find themselves ranked rather quickly too. If they just run the table in the A10. Who will win the Ivy League? I'm going to take Harvard. Even though Yale's been dominant in like the past couple of years. Harvard played close against Iona. Iona's been a really good mid-major this year. I think it's Princeton who's doing really well. So make sure to vote in that poll if you haven't already done so. We'll release the results once we close out. Yeah, they've never been they've never been fully healthy this year for Illinois. So once they get back everybody healthy, they're going to be extremely dangerous. Kofi Coburn's looking like he's going to be National Player of the Year. He's been unbelievable this year. Wow, I had said I thought it would be Princeton. Princeton's losing by 15 at home against Cornell. The team that's the best record right now in the Ivy League after 2 games is Penn. And Penn has an overall record of 5-10. Back to Miami, they've won 3 games to start out. They've won 4 games to start out conference play. All 4 games have been shootouts. All 4 games they've allowed at least 75 points to their 4 ACC opponents. They won against Clemson 80-75. They won against NC State 91-83. They won against Wake Forest 92-84, and they won against Syracuse on Wednesday 88-87. So they won 4 games. They were in track meets on every single one of those matchups, and they won all those 4 games at home. That's odd that they start out a schedule with all home games in conference play. Usually it's two at home, 2 on the road. Usually they mix it up. So it just makes life difficult for Miami because They got basically road games for the month of February. I'm looking at their schedule right now because they took the easy they got an easy way on their schedule throughout December into January for home games, and they got Duke tonight on the road and then at Florida State their next game. But I just saw what their schedule is in February, and yeah, they have the last 5 out of 7 games for the Miami Hurricanes are on the road, but before the ACC tournament. Gee. So it's probably better to do it the opposite way. Play more games on the road before you start to go back to home. Yeah, I'm interested to see what these odds are. So they keep on changing. So I found a website here that it has some of the odds. Okay, so it's got EJ Liddell. So right now EJ Liddell, Drew Timme, Paulo Banchero. So those are the 3 ahead of Kofi Coburn, and then Kofi Coburn and Johnny Davis are both tied. And then Achai Agbaji, Keegan Murray, Oscar Tshiebwe, Jaden Ivey, those are behind. So that's what the odds look right now. I got this from a website. The website's called OddsShark. I think it's gonna come down to who can produce big games on like the national spotlight. That's one of the big things. Because there's no like constant runaway national player of the year right now, like last year there was with Luka Garza. These numbers have been insane by Kofi Cockburn, though. I think the reason why is because he had missed the first couple of games of the season for Kofi Cockburn, so that's probably why. It took him a little bit more to catch up, and he wasn't on like the statistics board after the first couple of games, because you needed to get more reps before it started to take his name in. I'm pretty sure he has better numbers than what Garza had all last season. Or he's got just a little bit less scoring numbers, but his rebound total is insane right now. Garza scored just over 24 points per game, had just under 9 rebounds per game last year for Iowa. Kofi Cockburn this year is averaging 22.5 points per game and 12.5 rebounds per game. 62% from the floor. Garza was at 55%. And then Coburn's block rate must be. Yeah, he had 4 blocks against Minnesota. Cockburn is coming off. He's coming off 7 straight double-doubles. Yeah, Johnny Davis is putting up some big numbers. Coburn's coming off a 23-18 performance against Maryland. I think probably once they start playing like bigger opponents in the Big Ten, he's probably going to keep on moving up for Kofi Cockburn. So yeah, I think when Illinois plays against Wisconsin, that's huge, because there's, and then also Ohio State, because basically it's 3 of those players right there, Liddell, Cockburn, and Davis, are all battling for National Player of the Year. So it's who basically has big games in those matchups right there. Because Illinois is going to be ranked. They should be ranked coming up on Monday. Wisconsin's going to bounce up a ton. And then Ohio State. So in that conference is basically Purdue, Ohio State, Wisconsin. Illinois is going to find their way back. Michigan State's been tremendous this year. They're doing it with multiple players. That's been the difference. Those other teams have stars. Michigan State has got a ton of different pieces chipping in this year. So we start off the second half. Tennessee going right to left in the court. At the top of the key, it is John Fulkerson. Gives it over to Vescovi. Vescovi moves it outside to Chandler. Chandler having a great first half. Top scorer for Tennessee. He's got himself for Kennedy Chandler in the first half, finding 14. Out to the top with Vescovi, who takes a 3, splash. And he sinks down the triple. $19.5 left to go. Anybody's ball game here as LSU has their first possession. Pinson defended at the right wing, moves it over to the top to Murray. Murray back over to Pinson. And also in the conversation is Keegan Murray from Iowa too. He's having a monster year. And that's a turnover pass in the corner. But he's right now, I think he'd be like behind those groupings of players at the moment, because Iowa doesn't have like a strong team as far as the other ones I just mentioned. 1 minute through the second. Tennessee has the ball, taking it right down the lane. Missed the layup by Kwama. Ripped away in the glass by LSU. Pass off to Eason as he will float up the shot into the key, and that's a tough bucket. Tari Eason able to get that shot to go. Eason now up to 9 points. Bounce pass left corner, Jordan James, pump fake, dribbles towards his right around the outside. Swings it over to Kwamba, now into the hands to Chandler. 10 in the shot clock. Chandler passes right corner, spots up, open three, and could not connect. Missed off the back rim by Jordan James, and he's having a tough game. 1 for 6 shooting. Josiah Jordan James, and the victory over Arizona was huge during that game a few weeks ago. Today, it hasn't been his best day, though. It's all about consistency. If this Tennessee team, because they got the defense to do so, as that 3 rains down by Darius Days. If they find consistency with a couple of their key players, Fulkerson and Jordan James to be specific, they can go on a deep run in the tournament. But today, Fulkerson just 1 point. He's yet to even shoot the ball. Right baseline dribble. Inside Kwamba, moves it out to the top, pump fake Vescovy. Looks to pass it, moves it outside to Jordan James. Back over. At the top of the key, it is Fulkerson, and he lost it, stripped away. LSU picks up their 5th steals of the team. Pass ahead, layup, attempt, and fouled. And Tari Eason will head to the free throw line to shoot 2 for LSU. No clue there, Vaughn. Probably a 10. Probably a 10 on 10 right there for you. 2 shots coming up by Eason for LSU. That's Tennessee's first personal foul of the second half. LSU yet to pick up one, which is huge because the Tigers had 14 of those fouls in the first half. Eason hits the first one. Second one's good. It's a 7-zip run by the Tigers, last 2 minutes, 15 seconds. LSU bringing pressure in the backcourt, Tennessee able to take it. That should have been a wide open bucket. Pass off to the cut and deflected out. It's going to stay Tennessee ball. Jaros Placevic handled the ball at the right baseline. He had a wide open clearance to do so, just had an opportunity to drive in, and he didn't have his eyes to the bucket. That's why. Bounce pass underneath Kwamba. Nice swing over to Placevic, and he throws it down. 2-handed jam. LSU at the left corner. Backing his way is Eason, defended by Kwamba. Sneaks around him, couldn't get it to go. Tipped up and draws the foul again. Blocking foul picked up. It's going to be on Jordan James. This will be 2 shots at the line by Tari Eason. LSU is able to work their way inside and be efficient inside the post in this matchup. 22-10 points in the paint in favor of LSU. First shot is good for the Tigers. Back up they go by 10. This is where their momentum is. All on the inside. Less threes, selective with their threes, though, for LSU, and that's what they've done today. They started out struggling from 3, but currently at 7 for 11 from the perimeter for LSU. They started to make a good chunk of those in the late first. Second free throw is good, but they haven't overpowered and taken a ton of them from the perimeter. Tennessee just 5 for 16 from the outside. Tennessee finds themselves down by 11. Justin Powell moves the ball to Chandler. Top of the key. Largest lead of the game currently for LSU. Almost forced the tie with Eason. Bounce pass down low to Placevic, and he throws it down. 2-handed jam. Back-to-back dunks at the rim by Jaros Placevic. Get that one out of there. Huge rejection as Brandon Murray was driving down the lane underneath the hoop and just got the ball rejected by Olivier Kwamba. What's good, Spaghetti Factory? Welcome to the stream, man. 16.5 left to go in the second. They pass it out to the top of the key. It's Darius Days. Moves it over to Wilkinson. Wilkinson Lost the dribble, able to get it back. Kicks it out, right corner three, no good. Soaring up high behind a defense, too easy. Darius Days with a put back up and in for two. Nobody for Tennessee there to contest for the rebound, and that's too open. Vols with the ball, Euro step driving, and it will be an offensive foul. Santiago Vescovi running over his defender straight down the lane. Charge taken by LSU. Tigers will get the ball back, up by 11. Oh boy, Magic and Pistons playing together tonight. Oink, oink, oink. He is back with the Spaghetti Factory. Welcome in once again, man. 16 minutes left to go. 11-point lead for LSU. Largest lead, looking to build on it at home. At the top, it's Pinson. Pinson dribbles, drives, down the lane, tough take, no good. Gets his own rebound back, though. Moves it out to the right corner. Wide open three. Whole crowd stands up, and Tari Eason sinks it. LSU starting to put it together. 16 points by Tari Eason, sixth man for the season for the Tigers. That's an air ball shot. Might have been partially deflected up in the air as Kennedy Chandler missed it. Rebound picked up by the Tigers. They got all the momentum. Pass free throw circle. Bounce pass swung down the lane. Two-handed jam by Tari Eason once again. And a timeout taken on the floor by Tennessee. Oh my goodness, things have changed fast here. 58-42 for LSU. As we go on the timeout, it's a massive run. 7-0 run in the last minute of play. And getting bucket after bucket after bucket at the rim here for the Tigers. Aggressive tonight. They are physical, and they just look like they want it more in this matchup. Wow, this has been impressive. They're starting to shoot the ball well against a really good defensive team with Tennessee. And Tennessee is having a lot of troubles defensively around the perimeter. Gave up 11 threes against Ole Miss in the last game. And tonight they've gave up 8 threes against LSU. And LSU is starting to figure themselves out from three, which hasn't been the case this year. LSU struggled from three-point range, but now starting to find out a couple knockdown shooters. Xavier Pinson, 2 for 3 from outside. Darius Days also 2 for 3. Same as Mwani Wilkinson, 8 for 13 as a team from the outside. And at the rim, they've been dangerous as well. 26-12 points in the paint, LSU. As we're in the second. If you guys are new in the stream, hit that thumbs up, spike that like, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell if you guys would like to be notified as well for being a part here on the channel. Oh yeah, I'm going to take off this poll right now. Thanks so much all for voting tonight. LSU's got 17 points off of the Tennessee turnovers. That's what LSU thrives upon, is generating steals. They've got 5 steals as a team. They forced 9 turnovers so far. LSU doing a great job with the ball, actually, today themselves. 7 turnovers. Only 7. Tennessee forced 29 against Ole Miss in their last game. Tari Eason having a huge game. He's all over the place tonight on the court. At the rim, 18 points by Eason. 7 rebounds. Tennessee struggling to box out. 22-17 to LSU in the glass. This has just been dominated here. Total second half by LSU. Half number 2 has been a total difference. Tari Eason's got 11 points in the second half. He's on a complete tear. Like, Tennessee just hasn't had that player break out today. It's been concerning here for Tennessee because they haven't got consistency from their main players this season. They had a great game with Josiah Jordan-James and John Fulkerson against Arizona. Arizona got into a lot of foul trouble. And LSU once again dealt with that situation, but it wasn't one player in particular that got into foul trouble for LSU today. It was multiple players instead of some of the key players like Arizona did. And they haven't picked up a single foul in this second half for LSU, which has been massive, and that's how they've been able to extend it through the first 5 minutes in the second half. Yeah, this is a big run for LSU. I think the thing that's preventing them from being a top 10 team is they have to win on the road. So LSU is going to go if they win this one, and they just got the rebound. 15 minutes left to go. LSU up by 16, and they have the ball. Bounce pass left baseline. Chiefs just scored as they win over the Broncos 28-24 to final. Jumper, turnaround, in the key. That is 2 more for LSU. (18-4) run by the Tigers in the last 5 minutes. And on the far side, deflected out of bounds, it's going to stay Tennessee ball. Yeah, the thing that's preventing Tennessee, they just need a signature victory on the road for them. And of course, they're going to have some opportunities. They had probably their toughest game of the conference on the road, being their first game, as we head to a media timeout. 14:33 left to go, second half. This game is all LSU here in the second. Yeah, so it's probably the Bucks are like resting players tonight, most likely. Yeah, this is the only one that I'm doing tonight. Let's see what they got upcoming schedule here for LSU. LSU's got a road game at Florida on Wednesday. That's a good one. That's a good one to put together a road resume victory. They got some great games. They take on Tennessee, not this upcoming Saturday, but the next Saturday. So they got 2 quick games this month against Tennessee. Tennessee once again on Saturday, January 22nd, at Tennessee. No, I don't think Tennessee is going to drop out of the top 25. I think right now it's going to be Alabama and Colorado State, because Tennessee is losing against a team that's playing much better than their ranking right now. I think Alabama is the most overrated at the moment in the top 25. That they're struggling all over the place defensively. I think underrated at the moment. I'm going to go with Wisconsin right now. Johnny Davis is playing on another level for him. This was a team I was concerned about around a week ago. I wasn't sure if they were going to be in the top 25 much longer. Looking at their schedule, and they certainly provided an answer to that. I think Marquette's... I don't know if this week Marquette's going to be in the top 25, but they deserve votes coming up this week for Marquette. That they're playing much better than what their record indicates for that team. The 3 teams that's had the biggest week in all college basketball, that would be Wisconsin, Marquette, and now LSU. If LSU is able to keep it going and pull this one out, because that would be 2 ranked wins in a row. So LSU, next game they have on the road at Florida, which Florida is trying to see if they can pick up a victory. They got 2 teams desperate coming up. Florida at 9-4. Florida lost their first conference game. And then they got Arkansas, which Arkansas is winless in the SEC at 0-4. Something that I cannot believe I'm saying. That team is winless right now in the conference. So Florida had lost at home against Alabama. We get back to action. 14.5 left to go in the second. Tennessee with the ball. Poke loose. The backcourt able to pick it up. They got to get a shot off quickly, though. 3 in the shot clock. Dribbles. Stripped to the basketball. LSU picks up their 6th steal of the game. The Tigers float up a shot at the rim. No good. Offensive rebound. Try to get a putback and to get fouled. It's going to be 2 shots coming up at the free throw line by Brandon Murray of the Tigers. Most surprising team of the SEC, I take LSU right now. They had Adam Miller come in, a transfer from Illinois, and he got injured in the offseason. And they weren't projected to be a top 25 team. And this has been surprising. Historically, LSU has been a really good offensive team, but not so much defensive. And this year, they've completely switched it. It's all about defense this year from LSU. They're a top 5 defensive team at the moment. 20-point lead, largest one of the game. Both the free throws go down by Brandon Murray. Tennessee has the ball. Floats up the shot. That's a tough one off the top of the glass. Offensive rebound picked up, and drawing the foul is Uros Placevic. Disappointing one. I would have to say Arkansas right now. For them just being winless, that is shocking that they've yet to win a conference game. And also Alabama. Alabama with their defense, I didn't think that their defense would struggle this much. First shot good at the line by Uros Placevic. What's good? Dwayne in the stream, welcome in. Looks like I sound like a famous musician, I guess. Placevic airballs his second free throw, and it hits the baseline out of bounds. Tennessee is having a difficult time this season knocking down free throws. 67% at the line today, 14 for 21. The Reaper, welcome in. Yeah, that was shocking. They lost at Texas Tech. Texas Tech was looking for that signature victory. They had won against Tennessee back in overtime in the Jimmy V Classic. Tennessee picks up the steal. LSU is able to pick it up back. Tennessee able to pick it up again in their front court, and then LSU gets called for the reach-in. A lot of action going on right there. 11-1 run by LSU in the last 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Xavier Pinson checks back into the game now for LSU. Tari Eason will take a seat on the bench. Eason, top scorer in this game. He's got 18. The inbound for Tennessee to Kennedy Chandler. Chandler dribbles, had the ball poked loose underneath, able to pick it up with Placevic at the rim, and they're starting to find something here with Uros Placevic. He's up to 7. Under 13.5 remaining. Tigers by 17, and they have the ball. The left quarter perimeter. They dribble it out, move it over to the top. Eason is back into the game now. Eason lost the handle. Turnover on the far side, taking it up the court, is Vescovi. Vescovi dumps it out underneath and couldn't finish. Huge rejection by Tari Eason on Placevic. Eason off of a double team around the outside. Moves it over. Tried to snag it and couldn't get it with Gaines and tosses it out of bounds. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite odd how Baylor struggles with free throws. 12:40 left to go in the second. Catch and fire 3 in the perimeter. No good off the mark, and they had a rebound for a moment by Efton Reed. Poked loose, and it goes out. Last touch by the Vols is by Vescovi, who poked it loose. Tennessee stoned cold from the perimeter as well, 28%, 5 for 18. LSU putting on a great performance from the perimeter, 57%, 8 for 14. Tigers with the ball. Pinson at the top. He dribbles to the right elbow. Swings it over to the left wing. Nice dump off. Left block. One dribble. Spin move outside. Shovel pass. It's going to be an open three. Hit the rim short. Missed by LSU. Tipped up. They grabbed the offensive rebound. Chance to score, and they get it off of the tip in. It is good up and in. Banking it home, and it's 64-45 LSU. Darius Days gets the tip in off the miss by Fudge at the rim. And it's been that type of game tonight for LSU, getting points in the paint on a consistent basis. Timeout taken on the floor. 12 minutes left to go remaining second half. Tennessee having a lot of trouble tonight boxing out in this matchup. Let's see, from today's game, couple of differences in this matchup from today. Points in the paint in favor of LSU, 30-14. That's been a huge difference. 20 of those points. So almost a third of LSU's points has been layups. Compared to Tennessee, Tennessee's only scored 6 points off of layups today. And second chance points been a major factor for LSU. 15 second chance points. Yeah, it's TCU just, they didn't really have like a signature victory for them. That's probably why they weren't ranked. They hadn't won against like any like solid team. Sean, welcome on the stream. Scoreboard update right now. Iowa State, Oklahoma. That game is tied up at 59. Kentucky on a big run in the second half. They lead Georgia by 20, 82-62 after a slow start. Georgia Tech leading Notre Dame by 1, 56-55. If Notre Dame loses that one, that's a tough one. Notre Dame's looking to get back into the bracket. Big victory earlier this week against North Carolina. NFL action. The Chiefs able to pull out the victory 28-24 over the Broncos. So Kansas City still has the chance to be the number 1 seed. They would have to hope for Tennessee loss for tomorrow to do so. Which the Titans play against the Texans tomorrow. The Bengals are at the Browns, the Titans are at the Texans, and the Patriots are at the Dolphins. So those are all the teams tied up with the same record on the road tomorrow. And then the Bills are hosting the Jets. And all those groupings of teams have the same record, 3 on the road and 1 at home with Buffalo. Tyree isn't really showing what he has got today in this matchup. Top scorer of the game for Eason, 18 points coming off the bench. He has been tremendous this year. He's the top scorer and being the 6th man for LSU. 6 for 10 shooting by Eason. Darius Days with 14 points. 11 points by the freshman Brandon Murray from Baltimore. Has a bright future here for the Tigers. We're back to action. Under 12 minutes left to go in the second. Tennessee with the ball down by 19. Spotting up, taking a jumper. Deflected by Efton Reed, but fouled. The referee will say, and this should be 3, coming up at the line by Santiago Vescovi. Yeah, Raiders, Chargers, whoever wins that game is in. Unless both of them tied, and both of them are in if they tie. That would be crazy. You shouldn't ever play the tie in the NFL. That if that happens tomorrow where both teams tied and the Colts beat the Jags but can't get in, I'd be furious. Oof, you have to listen to Joe Buck tomorrow. I remember there was a Little League game in my state a couple years ago that the two teams, one of the teams had decided to throw the game to the other team, so that team wouldn't have to face the other team that was left in the outside watching, because that team had used up their best pitcher during the first game, and all the 3 teams were on a tiebreaker going into that matchup with those 2 teams playing. And if one team won, only one team would have gone in, but since that team drew it, it was both of those teams would face each other again. LSU just drew a foul. It's going to be 2 shots coming up at the line. Number 0, Brandon Murray. Perfect. 4 for 4 tonight at the free throw line. And no good on the first one. So he missed off the front rim. Second shot missed as well off the back rim. Tennessee comes up with a defensive rebound. Vols dribble past half court with Vescovi. Vescovi hands it off to Chandler. Chandler dribbles. LSU will make sure to stop that dribble drive, but they reach in. Brandon Murray picks up the reach and fall. That's going to be his 4th. LSU in quite a bit of foul trouble. Efton Reed, Brandon Murray with 4 each. They had 14 in the first half. They've got 5 now as a team in the second half. Both Tennessee and LSU with 5 fouls. Tennessee gets the inbound. They give it over to the right corner to Chandler. Chandler dribbles right baseline. Pro hop in the key. Bounce pass into traffic. Looking for Bailey. And it's deflected and stolen. Tigers with the ball. Left corner. Gaines, pump fake, slides it left block, bounce pass to the wrong player as his teammate had a towel on his head, not available on the court with Efton Reed at the bench area. I believe that they were looking to go that way, but there was nobody actually open in the corner for LSU. That's a turnover. With Baylor, USC being last 2 undefeated teams, who do you think is going to lose first? I go USC. USC is coming off a lengthy pause with a lot of missed games. Pro hop puts one up and scores up and in off the backboard. It is a Tennessee bucket. That is number 15. Jemiah Mashak, the first bucket of the game today at the rim. No good. Alex Fudge, but he draws another foul. Been a lot of fouls tonight. Still just over the midway point of the second. I've got Duke tonight by 25 over Miami. Number 1 player, class of 2022, Travis Hunter. Name, image, likeness worth of $870,000. Man, that's massive. First shot by LSU, as that goes down by Fudge. I had no clue they had a hockey team. I know they got a field hockey team, though. Second shot around the rim and out. Tennessee picks up the defensive rebound. See if Tennessee can get anything going here. Kenny Chandler's doing a lot of dribble drive attacking as he dumps it out to Fulkerson, and Fulkerson draws the foul. Seems like every possession lately there's been a foul inside the low post. That's now number 6 by LSU, number 7 as a team, or number 6 as well by Tennessee. They have for second half fouls. What's good, Raymond? Welcome in, man. I took LSU today. They've already passed the points I predicted for them, though. I took LSU 63-59. Probably Duke Golf will take that one. Both of the free throws go down by Fulkerson. He wasn't involved at all in this game. He's yet to attempt a shot from the floor. 10 minutes left to go in the second. Top of the key. Days towards his left on the perimeter. Hands it over to the top. Step back three in the air. Taken. No good. Couldn't connect around the rim. Picked up by Fulkerson, but a foul. And it's on LSU. And that's team foul number 7. Tennessee will head to the bonus. Yeah, I plan on probably not streaming, but in person, I've been, the guy that I work with, he's going to give me some games, to do some games in person for baseball and lacrosse. So he wants me to cover men's and women's lacrosse. He also wants me to cover baseball and also softball. So I'm going to be busy throughout the spring. I'm probably not going to be streaming like as much on weekends coming up within like the next few months, because I pick up next week. I start basketball once again. The team I'm covering, they were on the road today, but next week they're back at home. So I have them for their next home game since they're back from college break. Off the trail underneath as Tennessee gets a steal in the bucket. 12-point game. Olivia Kwambo up to 9. 9.5 left to go in the second. LSU has the ball. Looking to stay into this one as they get stripped underneath and gets poked loose out of bounds. Kennedy Chandler, he got called in the foul there. Referees say that it's a blocking foul by Chandler. There's been plenty of fouls tonight. That is now as a team. Tennessee's 7th in the second. 9th total personal foul for Tennessee. 21 fouls tonight for LSU. First shot is missed by Eric Gaines. LSU is only 7 for 15 at the free throw line themselves. Probably not Vaughn. I don't think any of the teams I cover have golf. One of the guys actually asked me to cover a track meet, but I have basketball that week at the other school that they already signed up for. Because I have 2 schools, and one of them usually calls me or so if they need a substitute. And the other one, I just sign up ahead of time. The schedule came out in November for all the games in January and February, so I had to sign up quickly before they get taken. 9 minutes remaining. Jacking up a 3 at the left wing by Tennessee. No good. Off the mark, and LSU's gone cold. Last 3 minutes, yet to go with a field goal. As Tennessee will pick up a rebounding foul. It's going to be called on Mashak, who picks up his second personal foul for Jemai Mashak. He did not play in the first half. Has shown up here for the second half, playing 5 minutes. So back at the free throw line goes LSU. Darius Days inside the bonus 1-1. First shot is good. Yeah, it's fun, Vaughn. You're actually able to hear crowd noise and stuff, which is good. It feels like you're like a part of the team. Like that's what I feel like when I cover on a consistent basis. Like when I cover games for the NBA playoffs, like when I was doing that on a consistent basis, it seems like you're like a team member of the team since you covered games like for the whole series. Since I covered them so often, you just basically nailed down everything. It becomes basically second nature. Whereas, like, during the regular season, I'm picking up, like, all different types of teams. So I'm seeing a lot of teams for the first time. This is my third time covering LSU in this. Third time as well covering Tennessee. So I've covered these teams quite a bit this year. Thought it'd be much low scoring than this. But LSU able to break out. They had some quality looks in the first half. Tennessee misses second chance, drawing the foul. No, that's right. Every single game I've covered LSU, the trouble spot for them has been foul trouble. And they just picked up their 8th. That is personal foul number 22 of the night by LSU. And that's what's keeping Tennessee in the game. It's just going to the free throw line. Tennessee as a team has attempted 27 free throws. If they make their free throws, they probably would have a chance to win this one. And he missed the front end of a 1-1. So no good at the first one was good. The second one missed. So 67-56, 8:20 left to play. LSU with the ball at the top. Days gives it over to Pinson. Pinson dribbles, kick. Left corner. Left baseline dribble. Tough take. No good. Offensive rebound blocked from behind by Plasevich of Tennessee as Everett Gaines got denied. Tennessee still hanging in this game. 8 minutes left to play. At the top, Chandler. He dribbles, drives, down the lane inside, blocked. So predictable by Tari Eason as he denies Kennedy Chandler. If you read the scouting report, there's a lot about Kennedy Chandler. He loves to go dribble, drive, penetration, take it to the right side of the rim, and it looks like Tari Eason was ready for it as he denied Kennedy Chandler, and the Tigers will burn a timeout. Clock will stop. 7:51 left to go. 67-56 LSU. Once had a 20-point lead. It has dwindled down to 11 now as Tennessee is hanging in there trying to make a comeback. LSU looking for something out of the timeout to see if they can keep on increasing it. Good question. Suns against Heat. It's a good game tonight. I'm going to go Phoenix tonight in that one. Phoenix is at home in that game. Jacob, welcome in. I'm not sure just yet. After this, this is my only game tonight. Tomorrow, I'm probably not going to be live tomorrow because I am out tomorrow night. I'll probably be back on Tuesday. Most likely. I think probably college basketball on Tuesday. They haven't released the TV channels of the games. Basketball brands in the ACC, Duke and UNC, Louisville, Virginia, based on how they've been in the last decade. Syracuse would be the 5th. Syracuse historically has been great too. And then Duke's biggest rivals, UNC. UNC by far. Kentucky is another one that's recently come up when they play each other in the Champions Classic on a rotating basis. Louisville. They also have their other like in-state rivals, but haven't been able to like keep up with them or so, like NC State, Wake Forest. Just listen to what I guess just use your judgment there, Vaughn, about that question. You see what's happening to a lot of people here. I think it's a wise decision. Yeah, probably Clemson too. Yeah, probably Clemson, because Clemson had the shot to get Zion, because Zion was right from that area, and then Zion chose Duke. Hopefully he's able to come back in the court sometime this year. Just too bad that he's having all these setbacks. I'm shocked that the Duke-Miami game wasn't put on national TV tonight, considering how big of a matchup it is in the ACC. But I know it's probably going to end in a blowout, most likely. Yeah, that's massive. That's the biggest game remaining on Louisville's schedule. Xavier Pinson comes away with a steal. Pass ahead over to Tyrese, and oh my goodness! Throws down the right-handed jam over Olivier Kwame on a poster. Tari Eason, sixth man for the Tigers out of Baton Rouge, playing a monster year this year for him. A sophomore from Seattle, Washington. Number one scorer, scoring over 15 points per game. And Powell got the ball poked loose out of bounds by Pinson. Xavier Pinson, scrappy defender. Tremendous pickup as a senior transfer from Missouri. Pinson has his first steal. He's got 7 assists today in this game. $7:15 left to go. Lob over the top, and that is an opening for a layup by Olivier Kwame. Approaching the 7-minute mark left to play. Top of the key, Efton Reed towards his left. Hands it over to Eason. Eason dribbles down the lane, gets denied by Kwame, and it goes right back off to Tennessee. Chandler passes to the right wing. Vescovy jacks up a 3. Off the back rim and out. It goes out of bounds. Celtics are the favorites tonight against the Knicks. It's been just rough for Boston this year. They've been all over the place. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks do win that one tonight. Yeah, the Nets should be able to bounce back tomorrow. They host the Spurs tomorrow night. Under 7 minutes left to go. LSU has the possession. Xavier Pinson moves it out to the top into the hands of Tari Eason. Move it over left wing perimeter Wilkinson. Over to the top of the key, Gaines. Gives it over to Pinson. Pinson, bounce pass. Reed backs his way on Placevic. Sky hook. Off the mark, no good. Missed by Reed. The rebound picked up by Chandler. Pushing tempo for Tennessee. Powell at the right wing. Gives it outside to Chandler to set up the offense. 6:15 left to go. Kennedy Chandler passes over to the left wing. Pump fake. It is Vescovy. Vescovy 15 on the shot clock for Tennessee. Bounce pass left elbow off of a double team. Kwame able to dump it down low to Placevic, and another foul. It's on LSU, reaching in the post, and Olivier Kwame. It's going to be Uros Placevic. Uros Placevic will be the one who will shoot 2 at the line. So Tennessee is now in the double bonus. They're in the bonus. Okay, so it's LSU in the double at the moment. There we go. There we go as we move it around. So LSU just picked up their 9th falls as a team. And Tennessee in the 1-1 as they picked up 10 in the second half as a team and they missed their first one. LSU with a rebound. At the top, it's Pinson. Pinson sets up the offense for the Tigers under 6 minutes left to play. Pinson, defended at the right wing, has a lot of space out in front, takes a three, couldn't connect. Vescovy with a defensive rebound. Over to Chandler. Vescovy. They give it over to Powell. Bounce pass, right elbow into the hands to Placevic. Backs his way, slips past his defender. Darius Days and soars high with a two-handed flush. Tennessee ain't done just yet. Down by 20 and now trailing by 9 points. They're able to open up this game through their defense. Juris Placevic, all 12 points scored in the second half. And he's done it at the rim for the big man, number 33 from Serbia. Yeah, there's 2 Wheaton colleges. Xavier Pinson moves the ball into the hands to Eason. Eason, tough shot, no good. Couldn't hit the rim off the glass. Gets his own rebound back, puts it up and in off the backboard. That's good for 2. It's good for LSU to go up by 11. Tari Eason, relentless, able to get his own putback off of his miss. Tennessee looking for something quickly here to get back into this one. Draw a win in single digits. Chandler dribbles, attacks, pushed down by Days and fouled. And Kennedy Chandler needs a moment to get up. Yeah, so that's where I work at, Vaughn, at that school. There's 2 Wheaton colleges. There's also another one in Illinois. Paul, welcome in. Just this one game tonight. Kennedy Chandler with 16. He's going to go to the free throw line to shoot 2 now as Tennessee's in the double bonus. William, welcome in. They've had a huge week, just able to sustain it. That's the thing for LSU. Up by 10. They once had a 20-point lead. Chandler will shoot 1. Tomorrow I actually have rehearsal during that time, so I can't watch the Patriots game tomorrow. Second shot good by Chandler. Chandler, the top scorer for Tennessee, he's got 18. Nine-point game, LSU with the ball, 4.5 left to go. They give it over to Brandon Murray. Floats up the jumper. Off the mark, no good. A rebound defensively by Kwamba of Tennessee. Tennessee with a chance to cut this LSU lead even more. See what they do with Chandler. Chandler gives it outside over to Jordan James. Back out to Chandler. Chandler towards his right at the top. 12 in the shot clock. Chandler takes the 3 straight away. Off the mark, no good. He got knocked down, though. It's going to be 3 shots at the line by Kennedy Chandler. 4:02 left to play. Tari Eason, the one who gets called for the blocking foul. That's a huge call right now. So Chandler will shoot 3. Chandler's 5 for 8 tonight when it comes to free throws. First shot by Chandler, no good. Off the back rim. Who would be my sleeper to win the Super Bowl? I go Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's putting up some monster numbers. Him and Jamar Chase have been on an incredible level lately. And Joe Mixon, that offense is explosive. Second shot was good by Chandler. And the third free throw he misses. Goes into the corner. LSU able to scoop it up. Once a 20-point lead for LSU has dwindled down to 8. 3:50 left to play. Still quite a bit of time remaining. LSU with the ball. They're in a massive scoring drought. As of late, Tennessee picks up the steal. Euro step. Chandler gets denied at the rim by Ease, and they get the ball back though underneath and floats it up with Placevic, and he couldn't get it in. Goes right back to LSU transition. Slipped with it. Hurt on the court. I believe that's Pinson who is down, and he is down, and this does not look good. He just slipped on a wet spot, and now the referees have to come in and they call time. 3:28 left to go in the second. This does not look good. Xavier Pinson is down right now for LSU, and he's had a huge game as a playmaker, the top playmaker this season for LSU. 7 total assists for Xavier Pinson, senior transfer from Missouri. And this whole crowd right now is they just cannot believe it. That's crushing. Pinson is in tears. It was on a play in transition, and he was the ball handler, and he slipped hard. And terrible sight to see right here as the camera is panned on Xavier Pinson. Already point guards in the SEC have taken they've taken the blow as of late. We saw Severe Wheeler get hurt against LSU earlier this week. We had on the timeout. It does not look good. Xavier Pinson is on the hardwood in tears. Most of the day tomorrow, I'll be out. I'm probably gonna be in, like earlier in the afternoon. This game's gone on for a long time tonight. 3:29 left to go. It's combined for... That's 41 total fouls in the game. 25 by LSU, 16 by Tennessee. Wow, Ty Washington with a huge game. 17 points, 17 assists over Georgia. Miami leading Duke early on 9-6. Kentucky knocked off Georgia 92-77. Some of the quick scores right now. Notre Dame in a game they needed. 72-68 in overtime. About to beat Georgia Tech. Auburn and Florida tipping off, and Cal UCLA just started. UCLA playing their first game in a long time. Louisville just tipped off against Florida State. Yeah, it's been crazy amount of fouls today. I remember last year I covered, I think it was Auburn against Missouri, and there were like over 50 fouls combined. LSU with 25 as a team. So Xavier Pinson, he was dribbling around the key, and he just slipped when he was the ball handler. He slipped and he fell down hard. I think it was like a wet spot on the court. Yeah, the court crew right now is cleaning up that spot. So there was definitely a wet spot on the court inside the edge of the key where he was. Slipped by Xavier Pinson, and he couldn't get up. This looks pretty bad. Xavier Pinson has to get helped out to go to the locker room. We see here, it was on the transition play. Pinson received a pass. He just slips. Lost his balance. Goes down hard. Xavier Pinson tonight, 7 assists. Top playmaker this season for LSU. That's devastating there. Yeah, UCLA is only playing 9 games this season. Yeah, San Diego State destroyed Colorado State today. Down to Tiello, welcome to the stream. UC Riverside, UC Irvine, there we go. Yeah, it's been like weeks that teams have played. Now we have a delay in this game. Looks like they have to fix the netting of one of the hoops. One of the hoops netting was off, so we have another court malfunction right now for LSU on their home court. Still in the media timeout, 3:29 left to go. Quite a bit of game remaining. LSU just looking to try to close it out. They were up as many by 20 points at one point tonight. LSU started this game 8 for 11 from three-point range. Now 8 for 17 from the outside. They've gone cold recently. They were over 70% at one time at the free throw line. Now down to 57%, just 13 for 23. Just cannot buy a bucket as of late. Yeah, good question there, the Reaper. If you want it at large, you have to post there's like no actual like answer to that. You have to post like a solid record in your conference. Usually like at large bids that's on the very tail end are teams that have like records of like 18-12, 19-12. Those are teams from like Power 5 conferences that's on like the outside. It all goes in determining like your record, strength of schedule, who you've played, who you've won against. There's a ton of stuff that goes into how you make March Madness for the at-large bids. And then the safest way to get in, you just win your conference tournament. If you win your conference tournament, you get the automatic qualifier to go into the tournament, and that's the safest way to guarantee you're in. Because last year, Belmont had a record of 26-3. They played an easy schedule and didn't make it in because they had lost in their conference tournament. See, those mid-majors, you have a great season like Iona. Like, if Iona goes into the conference tournament with a record, say, of like 25-3, and then they lose in the conference tournament final against a team like Monmouth or something like that, then it's up to the selection committee what happens about that. If that win against Alabama was enough. And right now it looks like so, but if Alabama keeps on losing the teams at the bottom of the conference, say if they lose against a team like Georgia, then that certainly does not help out a team like Iona. Because they just lost against Missouri today. So that's one strike right there. That's tough. That's like St. Bonaventure that you're relying on a victory over Marquette to be the difference maker, to send you in for an at-large. St. Bonaventure has a ton of work to do, because right now it looks like Davison is the team in the A10 to possibly be in as an auto bid if they keep it up. Davis is another team that won against Alabama. Alabama's those mid-major losses against Iona and Davison. And they just lost today, their fourth game against Missouri. So that's extremely concerning for them. Yeah, they got a bunch of seniors on Belmont. Belmont is one of two teams that beat Iona, which the other one was Kansas. That was one that I gave an example about. Maybe like another team, I don't know, because I think Murray State's doing pretty well in their conference. So that's like another team who hasn't like played anybody good. It is like Murray State. Say if they have like a great conference record, like they go like 16-0 or something like that in their conference, and then lose in their conference championship. That's exactly what would have happened to Winthrop last year if they had lost their conference championship. They wouldn't have made it to the tournament because they hadn't played anybody. They were a complete unknown going into March Madness last year. We're still in a timeout. 71-63 to score. They're fixing the hoop right now. So we're stuck at 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Both teams in the double bonus. This was at one point a 20-point LSU lead. Tyree Eason, the top scorer for the Tigers. He's got 22. Darius Days with 15. And Brandon Murray with 11 for LSU. Top scorers tonight for Tennessee. 19 points by Kennedy Chandler. Single-handedly keeping Tennessee in this game. 12 points by Jaros Placevic, all at the rim. All in the second half for the 7-footer from Serbia. 10 points by Santiago Vescovi. John Fulkerson has only attempted one shot. He has scored just 3 points. And Josiah Jordan-James is 1 for 7 from the floor for Tennessee. We get back to action. 3:25 left to go in the second. And Tennessee right to left in the court. They have the basketball. At the top of the key, it is Chandler. Moves over to Vescovi. Pump fake. At the left wing. Dribbles up to the left elbow. Defended by Eason. Moves it outside to Chandler. 8 on the shot clock. We'll see what he does here. Takes the 3 at the top or tries to dribble drive inside. Gives it out to the top. Vescovi. Pump fake. Takes a good look at the 3 and connects. Santiago Vescovi, the junior from Uruguay, hits down a big triple. And Tennessee puts this to a 5-point game. They aren't going away. 13 by Vescovi. Eason at the top, defended by Kwamba. Eason dribbles to the free throw circle. They try to create a brick wall defensively for Tennessee. Gives it over to the right baseline to Murray. Murray jacks up a deep 3. No good off the mark in the right corner. Rebound picked up by Placevic of Tennessee. They're getting something out of their 7-footer, number 33 from Serbia right now. Chandler at the left wing. Dribbles out to the top of the key. 2:15 left to go in the second. Chandler dribbles. Back outside once again with the ball at the left wing. 8 on the shot clock. Still Chandler. A lot of ball handling. Moves it out to the top. Poked loose. Able to get it back. Jordan-James back over to Chandler. Try to float up a runner. Poked loose out of bounds by Gaines. Huge defensive deflection right there by Eric Gaines. As the shot clock winds down to 1 for Tennessee. 2 minutes left to play. Inbound coming up for Tennessee with 1 on the shot clock. Tennessee will have the inbound underneath their hoop. They lob it over the top. It gets intercepted and nobody except the wrong player gains. Oh, nice pass swung right down the lane. Finishes up and off the backboard with the right hand. It is Brandon Murray for 2. Huge swing of momentum right there. LSU, top team nationally in steals. And they just get one. As that is their 11th steal of the game. They have forced 15 turnovers tonight by Tennessee. 1:35 left to go. Tennessee has it at the left block. Backing his way is Placevic. Swings it out right corner. Pump fakes, slide to the left. 3 in the air. Off the back rim, no good. Missed by Tennessee. Here they go, 2-on-1. Breaking it, and LSU will throw it down. Tyree Eason have a night with 24. Quick up the court. Back-to-back fast break transition plays go down for the Tigers. 1:10 left to go. Tennessee with the ball. Poke loose on the far side. Able to pick it up is the Vols. Bounce pass to the top. Tennessee once again with it with Vescovi. Dribbles down the lane inside. And a lot of contact here as Vescovi will draw the foul on Days, and that will be his 5th. Darius Days has fouled out of this game now for LSU. 75-66 the score. LSU has 3 other players with 4 personal fouls. Brandon Murray, Mawani Wilkinson, and Efton Reed all with 4 fouls, and Darius Days has just fouled out as he has finished up with 15 points. $1:02 left to go. Yeah, there's a lot of great college games on Tuesday nights. I don't know what the schedule is for this Tuesday just yet, but I'm hoping to be back on Tuesday. Rank Oklahoma. Oklahoma has knocked off Iowa State 79-66. So it looks like on Monday, Oklahoma and Illinois will be in the top 25, replacing Colorado State and Alabama, most likely. First free throw missed by Vescovi of Tennessee. Tennessee tonight struggling at the free throw line. Second one he gets. just 62%, 23 of 37 at the free throw line. This game has combined for 42 total personal fouls, 37 free throw attempts by Tennessee, 23 by LSU. It was supposed to end around 25 minutes ago, as we are 25 minutes past the hour. 1 minute left to play. LSU will get the inbound, getting a lot of pressure in their backcourt. They have 3 timeouts left to go. Still a lot of pressure in the backcourt. Brandon Murray swings it over. Dangerous pass. Eric Gaines off his fingertips gets fouled prior to midcourt. Clock will stop with 57.3, and Gaines will head to the free throw line in the double bonus. Josiah Jordan-James, the one who picks up the reach and foul. First shot by Eric Gaines of LSU. That goes through. Second shot. Bounces in by Gaines. 10-point lead for LSU. Having a monster week and under a minute left to go before this one goes final. Tennessee with a possession. Vescovi inside the key. A lot of dribbling. They move it out to the left corner. Jacking up a 3. Couldn't connect off the back rim. Missed by Kwamwa. And defensive rebound picked down by LSU. 40 seconds left to play. Tennessee's not going to foul. LSU will slow it down. At the left wing perimeter, Gaines, and he gets followed by Vescovi with 34.6. Back to the free throw line will be LSU, and they are having one of the biggest weeks in all of college basketball. Winning over Kentucky on Tuesday. And now, once again, they will get their 10th home victory of the season, as they are 34 seconds from closing it out. First shot good by Eric Gaines. They got a couple opportunities to prove that they can beat signature teams in the road. They play Tennessee in Knoxville, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that one on the 23rd of January, or 22nd of January. Second shot's good at the line. They also have their next game on the road at Florida. Right corner 3, no good. Halfway down, around the rim and out, missed by Victor Bailey Jr. LSU picks up the defensive rebounds. It was a large lead at 1 point by 20 for the Tigers. Despite the foul trouble, able to get it done because of second chance points. Points in the paint tonight. Those two were in the favor of LSU. And also points off of turnovers. Number 1 team in steals nationally came into this game averaging 12 steals per game. Just below that with 11 tonight, forcing 15 turnovers by Tennessee. LSU pulls out the victory as they win 79-67 at home and improve on a 13-game home winning streak, 10-0 on their home court in Baton Rouge this season, as LSU improves to 2-1 in the SEC as they win it by 12, 79-67. Thanks so much all for joining in tonight. Before I do sign off, hit that thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. LSU allowed Tennessee to shoot the ball 1 for 7 from the floor during the last 3 minutes of action. This defense is impressive for LSU. Top 5 ranked nationally in holding Tennessee to 39% shooting, 25% from 3. And for Tennessee, they left 14 points off the board at the free throw line. Both of these teams struggled tonight at the free throw line, 62% by Tennessee. They got so many opportunities. They went 23 of 37 at the free throw line, and LSU went 17 of 27. As this was the story of the game. Stop and start, stop and start. A combined number of 44 total fouls occurred in this game today. Haven't called a game in quite that much of a number for quite a while. So we're going to close out right here. Thanks so much all for joining in. Make sure to ring that notification bell so you do get notified when I do go back live for my next stream. Before I do sign off, spike the thumbs up, hit that like, hit that subscribe, everybody, and going to close out to the channel members. We have Jason, Cindy, Rajip, Olded, Deuce, Brian, SG Sports Talk, Russell, D-Block, BP, Greg, Oreo Pudding, Bino, Arahan, Mark, Mike, John, Jessica, Stephanie, Ahino, Josa, Elkie and GFR90, Woody, Warren, I Am Ghost, Pamela, Keith, Isaiah, Man and Hades, Barco, Dave, Rides of Steel, and Kelly. Thanks all for watching tonight, everybody. Big victory by LSU, as they're having one of the biggest weeks in all of college basketball, along with Wisconsin and Marquette this week, as LSU knocks off Tennessee 79-67, the final score. Thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.